Welcome, guys, to our podcast. You're probably asking yourself, why are we dressed like this? We are the three characters in the story. I'm the mother. Next to me is
Johann, I'm the daughter.
I am the salesman. Thank you, Andrew, very much for having us. It's a pleasure.
no problem. Today we're talking about Disaster Store. We are talking about the different characters and the themes of the story. I hope you enjoy it, and I will give to Mahmoud.
Right, like you mentioned, the story we're talking about is Disaster Store. It's written by Helen Phillips, and she is an American author known for writing unusual and often unsettling fiction. Today's story is a short story that belongs to the genre of contemporary realistic fiction. That means it's set in the present day and shows situations that feel real and that could theoretically happen. Like I mentioned, it's just theoretically, and most of the time it has a little twist, kind of strange, or sometimes also deep twist,
All right, but so why you should hear our podcast? In our podcast, we show you our opinion from the Disaster Store story and our interpretation about the characters and other cool, interesting facts about the story.
The most interesting part of the story is obviously the mother, and I think let's talk about her. Mahmoud, what do you think of the mother?
So obviously, like Andrew mentioned, she's a mother, but I think another really important detail is, look at him, man.
Just tell us.
You need new here, man. You need new here.
Thank
But no,
you,
actually. So the mother was very anxious, and she was always worried about possible disasters, like emergencies, violence, and even the end of the world. She tries to prepare for everything, and so she visits this disaster store. Now, here you can argue that the salesman was actually the one who convinced her about buying stuff and about the end of the world and all of that. But I mean, why did she go there?
Can I add something to this?
Of course.
Yeah, I think she's driven by fear, and that's the reason because she's visiting the disaster store. I think there's a weird tension in the story, like there's a disaster looming in the background, and I think that's the reason why she's visiting the disaster store.
That's actually a really good point. So that was also what I was thinking about, especially, that it is the fear that drives her. And also I think it's her main problem. She tries to control the world, the outside world, although she can't, no one can.
So when we talk about the mother, I just want to add something. I want to talk about the relationship to her daughter. That's me, I know, but the relationship to the daughter, so they're deeply in love with each other. So the mother says that the daughter have the same brain like her, and I think that's a good mindset what you can have with your children, because then you can understand your children, and that's really good. Also, the mother is don't stop caring about her daughter. Also, when she's angry or tired, she always cares about the daughter, and so I think that shows that the daughter is a really big point of her life. And yes, also the mother have in the story a little relationship with the salesman, because they talk to each other. I just want to say something to that. And yes, the salesman just wanna make his money. The salesman is make the mother feel afraid from the future.
Yes.
And also so the salesman tries to make money with that and tries to sell some products that can help the mother.
The daughter's also more a judgy person instead of the mother. It's also mentioned in
That's
the
kind
text.
of the opposite,
Yes, yes.
And like Johan mentioned, actually, he was pretty much abusing her fears, because she already, from the nature, she has a kind of fear from things she can't control, like I mentioned. And I think this is also a really good point.
And she even got in credit card debt for that.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's
right.
also kind of part of her main problem, actually. So she's never satisfied. It doesn't matter what she does and what she buys from the salesman and what she does to protect herself and her daughter.
Yeah.
She's never she'll never be satisfied.
Problem with the mother is she tries to find a solution between caring for her daughter and protecting her. Like when they got ice cream,
Yes.
the daughter went away, and she wanted to search her, but she also wanted to carry the bag with her,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
that's
It
important
shows.
for protecting her, but she also needs to find her to care for her.
I think also this fear of like wanting to protect someone is really close to fear of like losing this somebody,
Yes,
you know,
yes.
of
I-
like
I understand 100%. So I think the salesman just uses this fear to make a lot of money with the mother, because the mother wants the child's safety. And yes, that's right.
When the daughter also went away in the store, the salesman didn't even search for her anymore, just for a few moments. Then he got distracted by another person.
yes, and he also tried to be like, yeah, what's her name and all of that, while
Yes.
she was mentioning it a lot of times, and
Then
She
screaming
was-
the name without any passion, right?
I think you mean like it was kind of hypocrite, you know, because trying to showing yourself being really interested in something while you're not actually, it's pretty much a sign of it.
But what is the author trying to say with this text? Mahmoud, you know something?
So I think actually this was a pretty much hidden point. You know, I think Helen Phillips, at least in my opinion, you have to read a little bit to get it, but Helen Phillips wants to show us how fear can take over a person's life. For example, like, or especially fear of parents. If they want to, when they want to try to protect their children, and they want to try everything just to protect them. I think this story asks, like, what if preparation turns into obsession, especially in the case of the mother, like you could see. Also, there was like a good point you can see, like how society can actually constantly tells us to be afraid, and reflects how that lets us overthink simple things. We simply can't control these things, and this is, I think, a very good point made by Helen Phillips.
Even if she buys the survival gear, the daughter isn't really safe, like for 100%. She does her best, but she's always looking for more, and she has to say, stop, I did everything, but it doesn't stop really.
What we can see, that the daughter and the mother are really equal. That we can see on this point, that the daughter has chocolate bars for her safety, that she have something to eat in her bag every time. And so the mother tries to buy some gear for later.
So I think the perspective of the mother is very clear now. We haven't talked a lot about the daughter. Mahmoud, do you have
Actually,
something?
I had a question about it.
Yeah.
I think I mentioned it before the podcast, actually. Like, the daughter, she's a little bit not just like a daughter to the mother, she's kind of a friend, kind of companion, like she yeah.
Yes, I completely agree with you. The mother and the daughter talk a lot about the school life or the working life of the mother, and so I think for the mother is it like a therapy talking to her daughter, and I think that's a really good point in a relationship between daughter and mother. And I think the daughter just sees the world a little bit neutral and doesn't have fear. I think she's a little bit fearless.
I think I don't agree with that. I think she has fears, but she doesn't realize the danger around her, and that's the reason why she's so comfortable.
Right, like maybe she's just not experienced that much yet.
Yeah.
I think. So Johan, what is actually your opinion about the text?
For me, the text, it was really hard to understand the story behind the relationship between the mother and the daughter, and the situation in the disaster store. That was really hard to understand for me. It takes me some times to read it and understand it. I have read it like 5 times and then I understand the story. But I think the story is really beautiful, and it shows a really loving mother with a big heart, and I think that's really beautiful. Andre, what's your opinion?
For me personally, the story was also hard to read for the first time, but in the end, it's a cool story to talk with you. Yeah, the abilities of the mother to stay focused all the time, take care of her daughter. I think that's a beautiful story. I'm the same opinion like Johannes. You know, mother and daughter.
Yes, we have the same brain.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, Mahmoud, I think your opinion is missing.
My opinion, like I think I absolutely agree with you. First of all, second of all, I think this story is really unique. You know, so the idea of a disaster store is pretty creative. But for me personally, it's kind of creepy. You know, like to have a disaster store that should prepare you from possible disasters. I think this is also kind of creepy, and although I'm usually not the guy who reads these kind of stories, because in my opinion it's a little bit like, you know, a little bit too abstract sometimes, but this one, especially this one, I would actually recommend for everyone, like, because it has such a message, you know, and I think if you get it once, like maybe if you read it twice and 3 times maybe, like if you get it, then you have it, and that's actually a good message, you know. But Andrew, I think you wanted to put this situation in the story also in our real life world. Like,
yeah, I want to connect it with our normal day. I think if there was a disaster before the story started, I could personally completely understand the mother. Like, if we had a tsunami here in Germany, we would also be more prepared after for another. And I think that's the case here. Like, the mother is trying to prepare for the next disaster or a storm. A storm is also mentioned in the text. I think, like, it's completely normal to be prepared. Like, I have done some researches. A study from CNN shows that after the Southern California tropical storm Hillary in 2023, there was an immense increase in backpack sales, emergency backpacks, a percentage of 350, and also power stations like this. These are these rechargeable battery generators that powers different devices.
Yeah.
Increase of 2,300. That's completely crazy for
Yes.
only a generator.
Of course.
But I can understand it. If there's a disaster, you know, you want to be prepared.
Yeah, you tried your best.
Yes.
Like,
You just want to stay safe and protect your family and
Yes.
yourself.
you know, honestly, also, like, I think the situation, like you mentioned, it's absolutely understandable why the mother maybe is feeling like that and trying her best to protect herself and her daughter and her family, maybe. But as a moral message, like a last moral message I took from the story was also something like that this could actually help us these days also, because like you mentioned, there are a lot of people that try their best to be prepared for disasters, for possibilities, and for everything. And I think for these kind of people who overthink a lot and who can't sleep, maybe have sleepless nights because of these kind of disasters and these kind of possible events, I think for them it could be pretty good and pretty helpful to like just let go a little bit. You know, you have always to be realistic and to do your best to do like to protect yourself, of course. But it's not good if you overthink everything, and if you do it as your passion, if you can't work without thinking about it.
Yes, I think you have to find a solution between being prepared and be happy in life, you know?
Yeah.
Actually, I've heard the quote from Robert Browning once: sometimes less is more.
Oh,
think
good
it is
call,
a
good
good
call,
one.
yeah. Okay.
He got it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
But also we can say these days the problems, like mentioned in the text, are bigger than in the past because of the climate change, and because of that we have more natural catastrophes. And I think because of that many people maybe go to disaster stores like this, and you just have to be calm in your mind, I think.
We are lucky to live in a time where we're being alarmed really early when some disasters can happen. Like every phone has these warnings, and
I woke up last week because
So in conclusion, there are some points in the text I just want to say another time. Like in the text mentioned a lot about the motherhood under pressure, or about the fear of future. And I think that are the biggest points in the text we can see. And I would recommend the text to written by mothers who have problems with her daughters, or don't have problems with her daughters, for every mother. And what would you say?
Yeah, but not only mothers, like also persons who overthink a lot, to see a view outside the box, and just to rethink their mindset of overthinking.
Yeah, I mean, you mean like kind of getting out of this vicious circle, right? Like just to get out of it, like to overcome your fears, and just to
you can't protect yourself from all.
Yes.
We already said that.
Yes.
But for the persons who want to read the story, read it if you need it.
Okay, oh my god, guys, I think there's a storm coming. What? I actually have some things to sell in my garage. Are you ready?
Yeah, can they help us with things?
Of course, man, no question.
Okay, we have to quickly.
I hope you enjoyed the podcast. Love you guys.
Salam alaikum.
Komm, Starter, komm.